everybody. Sorry we're having some technical difficulties with our videos. My name is Claire. I'm a physical therapist. Welcome to today's super circuit exercise class. Sounds a little scary, but so today's exercise class will be starting off with a warm-up, be about 5 minutes. We'll be doing a circuit with 1 minute on of exercising, 1 minute off exercising for your break. We'll go through that 9 times. And then our final 5 minutes is going to be a boxing. So we're going to be doing some boxing moves. I'll show you how to do all of them. I will be doing, showing you how to do each punch, and then going through, we'll add some more and it'll be fun. So for today's exercise class, you'll need a chair. You will need an exercise mat, and you'll need small hand weights. I have 3-pound weights. You can use 1, 2, 3, 5 pound weights, anything that works for you. You can also do all the exercises without weights. And as with all of our exercise classes, any of the exercises that are too difficult for you, you can do them either sitting down in the chair. The chair can be used to hold on to if the balance portion is a little bit too hard. You can also do any exercise sitting, and I'll be giving modifications throughout to make it easier or harder as we go. We also will be getting onto and off the floor, but again, if those are too difficult for you, I'll give you some ways to do them in the chair too. Lastly, we are just going to be needing to get on the floor, get off the floor. We'll be going back and forth. If you need a rest break at any point, your chair is there to take your rest break. You can stand and rest. Please, you know your body better than us. Just take a rest break as you need to, okay? So let's get started since we're already running a little bit late with today's warm-up exercises. So we're going to be doing 5 minutes, 4 exercises. You'll get a little bit of a break in between each one. So our first one, we're just going to be marching for 1 minute. So with this march, I really want you to get your knees up as high as you can. I'm just starting my timer so that I know how long we're going for. The exercises are going to be about a half an hour today. So in about 5 seconds, we're going to start with our marching warm-up. Please feel free to do this as fast as you can, as fast as you are able to. Also, always hold on to the chair if you need to, or you can do these sitting down in the chair. Ready, set, go. So we're marching our knees up nice and high. You can hold your hands out just to see how high your knees are coming up. Keeping those shoulders back. This is, again, just a warm-up, so nothing too crazy. And if you want to make this a little bit harder, you can always go faster, bringing our shoulders down, squeezing our back. So we'll be doing this for a minute. And if you're sitting down, still make sure that you are picking those knees up nice and high. About 15 more seconds. So it's really important when we're doing strengthening and aerobic workouts to get a good warm-up in. You don't want to just jump right into it. 3, 2, and 1. Good. So give it a good shake out. Our next exercise, I'll just demonstrate quickly while we're resting for a few seconds. We're going to be doing toe taps. So I'm just going to have you tap your toe out to the side with an arm reach out to the side with the same side arm and going back. So stepping out and try and make this movement nice and big. Big arm, big hands, spread those fingers out, taking a big step. Good. Good. I'm going to do 15 times on each side. And again, if you need to hold on to your chair, or you can always do this in your chair if you need to. Do 5 more on this side. Deep breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth. Good, so there you go. So let's try the left side now. Give it a little shake. Don't forget to breathe. Take it at your own pace. 5 more. Good, so give that a good shake out. Just want to make sure we're still connected. Good, okay, perfect. So for our next one, we're gonna try and get on the floor. Again, if you're not able to do this, you can do, I'll show you what you can do in your chair. So I want you to sit in your chair and you can just hold your legs up in the air. You can't see my feet at this angle, sorry, and you're gonna keep your back off of the chair and arms straight out and just hold that while we're doing this. But the exercise I really wanna do is gonna be getting on the floor. So we'll get onto our mat. This is called a cat camel. So you're gonna get onto your hands and knees, and again, be nice and safe, nice and slow, take your time getting onto your hands and knees. And I want your hands right underneath your shoulders and your knees right underneath your hips. And flat back, just like, so you could hold a drink on top of your back. So you want it totally flat. Take a couple deep breaths here, just holding this position while we all get into this position. So now we're gonna do, bend your spine like this, head back, hold that for a couple seconds, and then we're gonna arch our back up. And the whole time that we're doing this, I want you to keep breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth. Really trying to get a stretch in that spine. Good warm-up exercise. We'll do that 2 more times. And you can take this as slow as you need to. This is really just getting a warm up for you so you're ready for our exercises today. Arching that back, good. Perfect. So for our next exercise, this is called a bird dog. So we're still gonna be in that quadruped position. Feel free to take a break, give it a little shake out. So for this exercise, we're gonna be bringing our opposite arm and opposite leg straight up and really wanna squeeze that core to keep yourself stable and back down. And if this is a little bit too challenging for you, you can do one arm at a time and then the leg. But the most challenging exercise is gonna be opposite arm and opposite leg. So we'll just do this a few times. Really squeezing that core. Eyes should be looking about 1.5 feet in front of you. You don't want to be looking down. You don't want to be looking up. Straight ahead, trying to keep that back flat. Just do this a couple more times. Good. Last one here. Good. Okay, so after that was all of our warm-up exercises, let's just take a little bit of a break. Take a couple deep breaths. So for our circuit, like I said, we're gonna be 1 minute on, 1 minute off for each exercise. And I'll demonstrate each exercise during that minute off that we have. So our first exercise, we're gonna be doing a plank. So we're gonna be getting back on the floor actually for our first 3 exercises in our circuit. So if you're already on the floor, take your break on the floor, feel free to stay there, totally fine. So our first exercise is gonna be a plank. So how I want you to do this plank today is with your knees down, like this, on your hands. Again, I want your hands right underneath your shoulders, squeezing that core, those abs really engaged. And again, looking about 1.5 feet, 2 feet in front of you, not up, not down. And we're just gonna hold that position for a minute. So you guys can continue to take your break. I'm just gonna demonstrate that exercise for you. So a way to make this harder is to bring the plank up onto your feet. And I don't want you to be sagging down, and I don't want you to be up in the air like this. Your back should be totally flat. Just like that. So that's if the knees are too easy for you, but I'm going to do the exercise on the knees today because we are going to be holding it for a minute. So I want you to really try and hold that for 1 minute. So whatever you have to do to modify, if getting on the floor is too hard for you, you can do this just on the wall like this. So again, still keeping that body nice and straight, nice and flat. And if that's too easy, you can add a little push-up into the wall, and that's if you can't get on the floor. So that's a totally, perfectly fine modification for that exercise. So we'll be starting in about 15 seconds. We'll start our exercise. Holding it again for a minute. If you need to take breaks in between, perfectly fine, but just come back and continue doing it after that. So we'll start in 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So hands underneath your shoulders. You can cross your feet like this. You can keep them straight. I want your back really flat. Squeezing that butt and those abs. And I don't want your back arching like this. I don't want it up like this. I really want you to focus on keeping that flat. Taking nice deep breaths during this. This is a really great exercise to engage your core and also your shoulders. If this starts to get too hard on your wrist, you can always bring this down to your elbows too. And you can continue the same, keeping your body flat, knees on the mat, looking about a foot forward. Great, so we've got about 10 more seconds of this. 2, 1. Okay, so now we have 1 minute off. So our next exercise is still going to be on the mat, so feel free to take your break on the mat. I'm just going to demonstrate it quickly before we start. We've got about 45 seconds left in our rest. So the next exercise is going to be a dead bug. Hopefully you can see me from this angle. And for this one, you're going to be on your back, legs in tabletop position. So I want your shins about parallel with the ceiling. And your arms are going to be straight up. Head can relax on the ground. And what you're going to do for this one is you're going to go opposite arm, opposite leg. So similar to that one that we did on our hands and knees, but kind of just the opposite. So you're going to bring your arm down, leg down. If this is too challenging for you, just holding this position is a workout enough. You can just hold that position for 1 minute. Or if you want to do a few and then hold the position, that's totally fine too. So you really want to squeeze that core and engage that. Okay, we're going to start in 3, 2, 1. So right arm, left leg down. Really squeezing that core. And if this is too hard, you can take your legs down. Just do your arm. And then just legs. Or for the most challenge, it's going to be opposite arm, opposite leg. Good. Awesome job. We've got about 20 seconds left. I can't get my arm all the way down because of the table, but it should be going all the way down. 3, 2, 1. Okay, now we get another minute break and we'll be doing our last exercise on the mat, and then we'll be standing up and using those weights in that chair. So for our last exercise on the mat, these are called curl ups. So we're gonna have one leg bent, one leg down, and you're gonna put your hands behind your head and just curl, squeezing that core, squeezing those stomach muscles nice and tight, just so that your shoulders come up off the ground. You don't wanna crank on your neck. If it's easier for you, if you want to cross your arms so that you don't crank on your neck and hurt it, you can cross those arms over your chest. And I just want you coming far enough up so that your shoulders are off the ground. You don't need to sit all the way up. And again, one leg is going to be bent. We'll do one leg bent for 30 seconds and the other leg bent for the other 30 seconds. So we've got about 15 seconds left in our break. So if you want to try and get into the position, again, laying on your back, I have my right knee bent first. We'll start in 3, 2, 1. So really trying to squeeze that core, squeeze those ab muscles, getting your shoulders just off the mat. And really controlling coming back down. You don't want to flop back onto the ground. You want to really control on the way up and control on the way down, nice and slow. 5 more seconds on this side, and then we'll switch. 3, 2, 1. So we'll switch, bend our left leg up. So this is a really great exercise, not only to engage your core muscles, but also if you have low back pain, this can be a really good way to strengthen your core and decrease the amount of strain on your low back. This is one of the best exercises for that. So 10 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Okay, done. Awesome job with those on the mat. So now we're going to stand up. Take your time getting up. We have a minute break. Shake it out a little bit. Take some deep breaths. See how we're doing? All right. So the next exercise that we're going to be doing is going to require our little weights. Again, I have 3-pound weights, 1s, 2s, 3s, 5s. If you want heavier, that's perfectly fine. You can also do these with no weights, totally fine. We're just going to be doing for our first one a bicep curl. So again, you can do this in standing. I'm going to show it in standing, but you can do this totally sitting in your chair. That's perfectly fine. So for our bicep curl, we're going to have our palms facing forward, shoulders back. I don't want your shoulders forward like this. Really make sure you squeeze your back. And we're going to bring them slowly up and slowly back down. Really the key to this exercise is bringing them slowly back down, especially if you're using no weight. Really want you to put tension through your arms, squeezing those hands, and bringing them slowly, controlling it back down. That's where you're really going to feel the burn on this exercise. So we'll start this one in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So we'll be here for a minute, so take your time. Really engage those biceps, squeezing those shoulders back. Want to have really, really good posture with this exercise to put less strain on your back and your neck. Nice and slow. Don't forget to breathe while you're doing this exercise too. So again, you can do this as fast as you'd like, but really I want to keep the slow, controlled, bringing your hands down. That's where I really want it to be slow. If you want to bring it up fast, get more reps in, that's totally fine, but really bring those hands down nice and slow. So we've got about 5 seconds left. 4, 3, get a couple more in, 2, 1, perfect. Okay, so you can put those weights down. Our next one's going to be focused on our lower body since we've mostly done core and upper body so far. So this is going to be one of our first lower body exercises. We're going to be doing a lunge. So while you're resting, I'm going to demonstrate how to do the lunge. I want you to make sure that your knee is not coming forward past your toes. I want you to really keep your knee, want to bend like this so that your knee is not going over your toes. I don't want you bending forward like this. I want you coming straight down with this back knee and keeping this knee behind your front toe. So we're going to be doing 30 seconds on each side, and then we'll switch to the other side. So if you need to hold on to a chair for this, perfectly fine. If you want to do this with weights in your hands, if it's a little bit too easy, that's totally fine too. And the harder it's going to be is if you go lower into your lunge. So if that's a little too hard, you can just go just like this into the lunge, still focusing on that knee staying behind the toe. So the depth of the lunge is not really the key. I just want to make sure we're not putting any excess strain on our knees when we're doing this. So really focusing on that is the key of what I want today. So we'll start in about 5 seconds. 3. So I have my left foot forward first. So again, coming down into that lunge and back up. Perfectly fine if you need to hold on to something, or or you can just decrease the depth of the lunge. So you don't need to come all the way down. So you can come down so that your knee touches the ground if you want to do that. That's going to make it much more challenging, but you definitely don't have to, just focusing on keeping that knee back behind those toes. So we've got 10 more seconds on this side, and then we'll switch. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so we'll switch to the right foot forward. Same thing. Really controlling this movement. Good. Three, 2, 1. Awesome. So now we got some burn in our legs. We're going to go back to an exercise with our upper body. We're going to pick up those weights again. Continue to take your break, take some deep breaths, sit down if you have to, totally fine. I'm just going to demonstrate the next exercise. So we're going to be doing a shoulder press. So you're going to want to have your weights just like this next to your ears. Shoulders down, squeezing that back. I don't want your shoulders coming up to your ears. Really making sure you squeeze that back down. And we're just going to press straight up. So you're going to keep your hands, I don't know if you can really see me, but you're going to keep your hands straight up like this and back down. So I just showed you on my knees. We're going to do it standing, but just so you could see my hands, because it's kind of hard with this camera. So we're going to be starting in about 15 seconds. And again, just pressing straight overhead and back down. So 3, 2, 1. So press straight overhead. And while you're doing this, you can really squeeze your butt and your core to keep a stable core. So you really want to keep a stable core, especially when you're standing and doing arm exercises, because that'll put less strain on your low back. And again, controlling the movement going up and controlling the movement coming down is so important. And really watching to make sure that those shoulders aren't coming up towards those ears. So I don't want this. I want you squeezing those back muscles and then pushing your shoulders up, just like that. Got about 15 seconds left. 3, 2, 1. Get one last one in. Perfect. All right, so we're going to put those weights down. We're going to go back to our lower body exercise. This time we're going to be doing a squat, so I'll just demonstrate that for you. But again, the same focus as we did with the lunge. I really want you to make sure your knees are not coming over your toes like this. I want you sitting back into the squat like you're going to sit into a chair. So if you need to do it sitting into a chair to get that, that's perfectly fine. If you need to feel that the chair is behind you just to help you get backwards like this, that's perfectly fine. And really watching those knees. I don't want this. I want your butt sitting back like you're going into a chair. And that'll help keep less strain on your knees when your knees are not coming forward over your toes. So again, we're going to be doing it for 1 minute. So take your time. I want you to really control the movement, but also try and get a good number of reps in the 1 minute. So we'll start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So we're going to be squatting back. And if you don't go all the way down, that's totally fine too. If you want to do a mini squat, as long as those knees are staying behind those toes, I'm totally fine. The depth is not too important as long as you're keeping that form. And really squeezing those muscles in the front of our legs. Good. Form is so key when we're doing a squat, just to keep yourself from hurting other parts of your body and focusing on the right muscle groups. So we've got 15 more seconds. Keeping those deep breaths. Don't forget to breathe. 5 seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Great job, everybody. Take a couple deep breaths. We've got 2 more exercises in our circuit, and then we're going to move on to our boxing section, which will be the most fun section, I think, for today's exercises. So our next exercise, we're going to be going back to our shoulders. We're going to grab our weights again, but this time we're going to be doing a raise out to the side like this. So I want your arms coming straight out and back down. And if you need to do this without a weight, that is perfectly fine for today. This exercise can be tough with any amount of weight. So really just focusing on not shrugging those shoulders up. I want you to squeeze your back down, squeeze your shoulder blades in and down to keep your back stable. I don't want your shoulders coming up like this. And we're just gonna go straight up. And you don't need to go all the way up. I just want you to go shoulder level and back down. And again, really controlling that movement. So we've got about 15 seconds left in our break. So keep taking your break. Get some water if you need it. Take a couple deep breaths. We'll start our exercise in about 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Okay. So let's just start squeezing those shoulder blades in and down, and then we'll go up to shoulder level and back down. Perfect. Up and back down. And again, same thing, I really want you squeezing that core. If you're doing this in your chair, that's perfectly fine too. But if you're standing, I really want a stable core, ab, and back muscles, really squeezing to support you while you're in standing. And only going up to shoulder level. Deep breaths. If this is a little bit too easy, you can give it a hold at the top for about 2 seconds and then come back down. Good. Great job, everybody. Keep going. We've got about 5 more seconds. 4, 3, try and get one last rep in. 2, 1. Awesome job. Okay, so we've gotten to our last exercise on our circuit. So you can put your weights down. This one we're gonna need your chair for. So if you can make your way to your chair, take your time. You do have a minute rest break. What we're gonna be doing for this one is sit to stand. So if you did these for your squats, that's perfectly fine. We'll just do them again. So how we're gonna try and do this, if you're able to do it without using your hands, that is awesome, and I would love that. If you can cross your hands over your chest, feet shoulder width apart, stand up, and then really slowly sitting down. You should really, really feel this in the front of your quads, those front muscles in your thighs. You should really feel this burning those if you really slowly control it down. If you need to use your hands to push up, that's perfectly fine too, and then you can just still slowly sit back down. So really the key to this is I don't want you plopping into the chair. I want you to really control that descent into the chair. So how are we doing, Arla? Perfect. Hi, everybody. Okay, so we'll be starting in about 15 seconds with our last exercise of our circuit, and then we'll go into just a few minutes of boxing at the end. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so we're going to control that sitting down. And don't stay sitting down for too long. I want you to come back up pretty quickly so we can get a good amount of reps in. If you want to cross your hands over your chest to keep you from using your arms, that's totally fine. And the same way we did with the squat, I want you sitting back into the chair. Nice and slow. If you need to use those arms, go right ahead. But you can still use your leg muscles. Even if you need to use your arms, you can still control that descent with those leg muscles, with those quads. So I really want you to focus on that today, is controlling that. Sit back up. Got about 20 seconds left. Keep breathing. 5, 4, get one more in. 3, 2, 1. Awesome job. So we made it through our super circuit, 1 minute on, 1 minute off. We did 9 exercises. So that was really awesome. So for our cool down, I just want to do a few boxing moves. So boxing can be really great for people with Parkinson's, or just anyone in general really could benefit from all of the things that boxing can do for you. It's a really great aerobic workout, helps with trunk rotation, helps with reaction time. There's so many things that boxing can help with, and I really love doing it. So what we're going to do today is just a few simple punches. So our stance for boxing is one of the most important things. So if you're right-handed, I want your right foot behind, left foot in front, and on the balls of your feet. So you don't want to be on your heels. You want to be on the balls of your feet so that you're kind of bouncing, ready to go. If you can see my feet, hopefully. Yeah, there you go. So you're going to have your hands up. You always want to have your hands up. So we don't want hands down here because we don't want to get popped in the face with a punch. So we really want to keep both of our hands up in front of our face. And being on the balls of the feet is really important for being able to react. So when a punch is called, you want to be able to shift your weight. So for our first punch is going to be a 1, and that's just with your left hand. And if you're left-handed, it's going to be just the opposite. So you'll be left foot behind, right foot in front. But I'm right-handed, so I'm going to do it right-handed, because it probably wouldn't be pretty if I tried to do it left-handed. So for our 1 punch, it's going to be our left hand just straight out. So you're going to lean into that left foot, bend that left knee, straight out. So let's just get a couple of those. These are called 1, 1, 1. Good. So we'll get a couple of those, really shifting that weight back and forth, leaning into it, trying to get some muscle behind it. And then we're going to come in with a 2, is going to be, that's the little bit tougher. So you're going to be shifting that weight on your right foot, pivoting, and you're going to punch with the right. 2, straight out. So from the side, you can kind of see my weight is pivoting, and I'm going right into it like that. So for just a few more minutes, we've got about 3 more minutes left. I'm just going to call out some 1s and 2s. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1. And you can always do these sitting in your chair. If this is a little bit too hard, please feel free to sit down and just practice these punches. They can still be really, really good. So feel free to sit down if this is a little bit too tough. We've got about 2 more minutes left, so stick with me. We've got a 1 and a 2, 1, 2. And then a little bit more of a challenge, you can add a shuffle up. So you shuffle up, keeping that left foot in front, a couple steps forward, and then we'll get a 1 and a 2. And then we can shuffle back. 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2. So as I call these punches, 1, 2, try and keep up. 1, 1, 1, 2. So that'll help a lot with your reaction time too as I'm calling the punches. If you can punch with me, that's really, really awesome for your reaction time. You're rotating your trunk. You're getting a little aerobic workout in if you're standing up. So this can do so many great things. So we'll do about 30 more seconds. I'll just call out a few punches, okay? Ready, set, go. 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, with that 2 really rotating that right foot, 2, 2, trying to get that body turning while you punch, 2, 2, all right, last one, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, perfect. So that was 30 minutes and a little bit of boxing at the end. I hope you guys really enjoyed this class. If you need a little bit more of a cool down, feel free to do child's pose, any of the exercises that we did, just cool down, get some water. I'm sure you guys did awesome. I can't see you, but thank you so much for joining today. Again, my name is Claire. I'm a physical therapist with Thrive Physical Therapy. We'll be doing 2 more of these classes, Ashley and myself, before the new year. So I hope you guys will join us for all of them. If you have any questions, please let us know. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I was sweating doing it, so I think it was a pretty good workout. Again, thanks for coming, and I hope to see you soon.